Welcome, world, to Life, Love, and Wellness Global, a worldwide wellness movement. I am Reverend Sandy Rogers, and as the creator of this historic event, it is my pleasure to welcome you. We come together to bring you this historic event. We have practitioners, holistic practitioners, we have medical doctors, we have spiritual individuals. This event is so lovingly dedicated to my mother, Mrs. Barbara Dean Brown. And my mother taught me like 40 plus years ago about the importance and the meaning behind herbs. And she would always say, we don't know what they putting in those pills, so you better not, get hooked on prescription drugs. And so we listened to Mom, but not all of us paid attention. My sister, bless her heart, was diagnosed recently thereafter with asthma, and she was prescribed prednisone, which is a very powerful steroid. And my sister actually got hooked on steroids, like someone out on the street kind of hooked, like on heroin or crack or something like that. And so my mom and my sister are both on the other side, living in the other dimension, but they're upholding me, and this is dedicated to their memory. So we don't want to come and make you change your mind about what you're doing. We just want to provide information to you, something different, so that you have options to choose from, so that you're not stuck. Because the environment that we now live in, the fast foods, the toxins in the air that we breathe and in the water that we drink, and the processed foods, and all of that is causing havoc on this precious body temple. So God created our bodies to heal themselves, but they can only heal themselves when they're fed and they're nourished and they're stress-free. And so the 60 or so or more experts that we have are bringing you this worldwide wellness movement in an attempt to share their testimonies and their information with you. So we have from age 14 on up. I don't even know what the oldest age is. I think 88 or something. So you see, that's a wide range of knowledge that we're bringing you. And so we hope that you come and that you get all the knowledge that you need to affect a positive change on your life, and share this with others. It's free, it's online, and so we're just so thankful that you decided to be a part of our listening community, the viewing community, and we certainly appreciate you for giving us your time of day and your energy and your efforts to being with us and to being a part of this historic event. We have pulled together people of color for you, by you, right? So we want to make sure that you understand that we too, melanated people with color, can enjoy, practice, and participate in some of these modalities that others have been doing for centuries, and that is pretty new to our community. So we talk about Qigong, we talk about meditation, yoga, spiritual work from a different perspective than religion. So we talk about the spirituality aspect. We talk about abuse in the families. We talk about all kinds of subjects because we know that in our communities there are layers and layers and layers and layers of stuff that we never talk about that's causing a negative effect on our bodies and its healing process. So we address it, whatever it is, and we hope that you will benefit from the many experts that we have, and that you walk away with lots of knowledge and lots of new information, and that you become fully empowered to share information with others. So thank you for being with us. We love you and we bless you, and we look forward to doing this again. But thanks for being here with the first one. We appreciate you.
Love and wellness. Life, love and wellness.
So greetings, my name is Lorraine McCall, and I am the owner of Breathe, Balance, Energize, an alternative energy medicine company. And our goal and our motto is to be in service of happiness. So I welcome this opportunity to speak to Mama Sandy today about living whole, being innate and authentic. The initial question proposed was, how do you stay positive? And my answer to that is having a very innate, authentic internal conversation with yourself about what you're saying is truth and what is not truth. And sometimes the stories we tell ourselves are very fictitious. They're not based on facts. They're more emotional and very just a response from ego. Or fear, or not feeling enough, or having enough. And so I really make a deliberate choice to make my choice from a place of love in my relationship with God and God's promise to me. And God's promise to me is that I'm blessed and that there's nothing I can't have. And as true as that is for me, it is true for every other human being that walks this planet. I think the only difference that stands between myself and those who are possibly not manifesting the things that they desire is that they don't believe. Like Will Smith talks about, if the moment you have a thought, it becomes a real thing. Like it begins like, it's like a seed. And the more you believe in it, it's like planting it with water. And that allows it to grow and begin to take like an actual physical form. And believe it or not, like the moment the universe hears, all right, they're onto something, good or bad, right? It will now start sending all this energy that way in order to like bring it into fruition. And so the question is like, what do you want to create? And I want to create happiness. I want to create love. I want to be surrounded by creative love and light all the time. And I find when I live in that truth, I operate from that truth, when I speak from that truth, everything just feels like really delicious. Love is a relationship with the God in ourselves. And when I say the God in ourselves, meaning that the divine source that is in all things, and us being like a co-creator with God. So I know that when I am responsible for my words, when I'm responsible for my actions, and when I'm responsible for my thoughts and the script that I'm reading and co-signing on to as truth, like those few very vital fundamentals make up what my reality looks like. And it also determines how I feel about myself and the life that I'm living. And so ultimately, like I choose and make a deliberate choice to be happy regardless of what's going on. I don't want to give my power over to something outside of myself that clearly doesn't know what my highest good is for me. I work with angels. I call on divine sources, archangels. I call on rescue angels, and I ask, shed light. I ask for assistance. I ask for intervene in a way that I couldn't. Help in a way that I know not how to or have the tools and skills to do so. You know, the saying, as below, so above, as below, like I believe in that. And just as you and I are these physical beings, I so wholeheartedly believe in angels and archangels and guardian spirits. Like we each have like this force of angels that have been assigned just to us. and they are waiting for instruction. And even sometimes if you don't know what that instruction should be, but just say, do what God's will is for my life, and help me to take those ordained guided steps, where God would have me to go, I think I'm covered. And then working with energy, like using the practice of Reiki energy, but just not in terms of myself being a conduit of energy and passing it on to other people. We live in a society that really doesn't want you to understand the use of energy. And I'll give you an example. Recently, I saw this commercial where these kids have on like some type of virtual reality headset, and they have these gloves on, and the commercial shows them throwing energy at something. But the truth is, we can throw energy anywhere right now at this moment. I can imagine and say Shokore right here. I can swing a pendulum and say love light, love light, love light, love light, love light, and cultivate the light energy in my body, in my hand. And then I can say I am assigning this energy in this now, the love light energy, to heal my father. Because energy knows not time or place. That energy immediately goes to my father and it does the work assigned. And it's no different than when you dial that number that's assigned to your son Malcolm or your brother William, and how you're able to pick up a phone immediately. It's because you assigned an energy with information that sent out a frequency to say, William, Malcolm, pick up the phone. You have the scenarios when you call somebody and they'll be like, oh, I was just thinking about you. That's not a coincidence. That's energy. They were open to receive a frequency of your thought, or you were open enough to receive their frequency where you knew they would think of you. So you said, let me talk to them directly. And so I think learning how to cultivate energy and assign energy also has been one of the tools that I have been using in manifesting what I want in life. And just know it is like the most powerful tool. And when I say energy, be clear, love light energy. It is the most healing, the most powerful energy that walks this planet. And if you don't know how to use it, if you don't know how to cultivate it, then 10 times out of 10, you're letting all these external forces do it for you.
So how does one learn to do that?
You know what? I think, so no one taught me or helped me to say this is what energy does and this is what you should do. Like intuitively, I feel like it was whispered to me by God Force. And this is nothing that is just unique to my person. Like anyone can do this. The other thing I think is important in terms of understanding that everything is an energy. So one of the other, in terms of modalities or practices that I use, is that I choose to find out the translation of numbers. So every morning when I wake up, because I want to hear God clearly, I want to know what God wants me to know about today in terms of what my truth is, the support I am walking with. So if I wake up this morning like I did at 4:41 a.m., there's a message. And so actually you can just Google 441 angel number, and there's a whole message about what 4 means, what 1 means, and then the combination of that number in terms of what God wants you to know, what your angels want you to know, what archangels want you to know, and what is happening in your life right now. And you can do that at any time, just to have like an affirming voice about God is present, God is aware of your being and what's going on with you. You're not alone. right? And that everything is being taken care of. Yeah.
So if I don't have computer access at home, I could go to the library and get the information for the numbers you were just speaking of. The question is then, does the definition for the numbers change, or does
No.
what? Okay.
The definition for 1 is always the same definition for 1. The definition for the number 4 is always the same. Now, the combination of the number, 441 has a designated meaning. But if it was then 414, that has a completely different message to it.
Okay.
So it's the series in which how the numbers are aligned. And then it stops at a certain point.
Yes, I was just wondering for the listeners or the audience, for those that don't have a computer at home, a
Right.
system.
Yeah, so I would definitely say go to the library. Go to the library, and what you could do, so the website is actually, it's called Sacred Numbers, but just put in the number 441 or any number and put angel number behind it. And I want to say it's Joanne's Sacred Numbers. That's the website that I choose to refer to. And you can print out what each number means. And then that way you can use it as a booklet that you can take home too. Now, so the numbers have their own individual meaning. Like to print out like 500 worth of numbers, and that's pretty expensive. So you can do it one number at a time, like whatever works for you. If you decide that you're going to say, okay, every time I go to the library, I'm going to choose a number that I saw today to find out what that message is. And then if that number should ever appear again, then you can always go back to it. So that's how I would proceed.
How easy has it been for you to accept and apply this knowledge that you're receiving from your higher consciousness, where people may criticize you for how you relate to people and to situations and things like that?
So I can say I've lived life my way. And when I lived life my way, it was stressful. I suffered medically, like physically, dealing with fibroids and excessive bleeding, extreme unhappiness, depression. And I mean, we can all attest, there's no fun trying to fit a measurement or a standard that someone else has created for us. And because we all have our own learning curves, like at some point, hopefully everybody will get tired of hitting their damn head. Like, what they're telling us is a lie. And God has written upon our hearts our truth and who we're supposed to be innately and authentically. And so making the choice to no longer do things the way I thought was very easy, because when I did things my way, I got a lot of resistance, a lot of pushback, a lot of what I was considering, these are my rights. I'm supposed to be afforded this based on X, Y, and Z. And, we live in a world, we know that it doesn't matter how many laws that they have written that are to be applied and to govern all life. It doesn't mean we're always afforded them. And then trying to go up against this system that has no intentions of ensuring your rights, your human rights, your it has no interest in ensuring your happiness, nor does it think it's responsible for it, but it wants to be responsible for everything else, like what you think, feel, what you buy, what you don't buy, what you put in your body, what you don't put in your body, what you put in your mind, right? It wants to be responsible for all of those things, but your happiness, your wholeness, your completeness, not so much. And so from going from this little girl who used to sit in a bedroom and try to figure out, is God real, like make an elephant appear on my street if you're everywhere and you hear me, right? To knowing in this now at age 45 that what happens in the non-physical is possibly the most beautiful thing based on belief alone. Real easy to accept. Because when you surrender to God saying, let me prove to you I exist, you step into the flow of life. And it's nothing that you can't manifest like in this now. I went from 44 years of believing that I couldn't own a house because my income is well below what I would consider a homeowner to own. But it took somebody pissing my ass off and me changing my belief in that moment to 4 months later, me being a homeowner. And not just a homeowner just to say I have a homeowner where this home is going to make me money and pay for its existence. And it's going to be a place where people can come and be loved and cultivate their own life, love, energy, and be responsible for their healing and rejuvenation and a reassignment of their thoughts, and hopefully, navigate themselves to an understanding of who they are innately and authentically.
How do we deal successfully with holding our own and respecting the contrasting views of someone that we love and appreciate?
So I think why my successful relationships with other human beings is merely based on the removal of judgment and understanding that nobody has to be anything to me and nobody has to do anything for me. And so with that, I choose to practice and be in relationships where I love people unconditionally for who they are. But also in that love, I have to discern whether or not if this person belongs in a close proximity to my space or from a distance. And so if someone finds themselves in a relationship where there's like all this criticism and judgment and people want to tell you who you are and what you're not and what you should and should not do, I say set some boundaries. I say even run or remove them completely from your life, because you know who you are. You know what you want to be and do, and you don't need any other individual to do that for you. I think what is most important is to believe in yourself and that there's something so much greater than you that is fully and wholeheartedly behind you in the actualization of your whole self. We read our own scripts that tear down and discourage and sometimes not believe in our best or highest good or our blessings are coming. And so who needs a party for that? So I would basically say the following. I would say to that individual, this is what I need in terms of us to have a healthy relationship. I need positive communication. I need my dreams and thoughts to be affirmed. And even if you don't believe it or co-sign on it, just be like, if that's your choice, I wish you well in that. And leave it there. And if they can't respect that, then just know that that's not maybe somebody you want to confide your thoughts, dreams, and beliefs in, because those are sacred. And outside of that, I'm like, just don't give your power over to anyone else in terms of what they think. It doesn't matter what they think. All that matters is what you think. And what you think is what you actualize. That's it. You know, recently, Will Smith came out with this video where he talks about self-love is self-discipline. And I think it's a pretty fantastic message about understanding that the practices that you make are a reflection of how you really feel about yourself. And I guess I couldn't say enough that internal conscious conversation that you should have with yourself about everything until it becomes automatic is really essential. I think the other thing that's really essential is scripting your life. Write it out. Dream like the most outrageous dream you could ever come up with and be like, I dare it to happen. You know, dare yourself to, you know, do something every day that helps you actualize, manifest, be an alchemist of that particular thing, because there's nothing that's impossible. Every moment comes to us holding the present of infinite possibilities. And it's like, choose one, choose many, believe in them all, and it's possible. And then the judgment piece, put it away. Stop judging yourself. You don't have to be like anybody else. God uniquely made you for a reason. Figure out what you have been purposed to do. And it could be one thing, it could be many things, like, you know, today I'm an artist, tomorrow I'm a dancer, the next day I'm a meditation facilitator. Like, I receive it all. Like, wherever God says go, that's where I go. If God says talk to the stranger and deliver my word, then that's what I do. And there's no particular mode I am interested in filling other than the one that's called Lorraine McCall. And that energy is for me to define on a moment-to-moment basis, and I'm not apologetic for it. And whoever you are, you shouldn't be either. Life is about learning about all the things you have to gain. And if you have allowed fear to make you immobile, then you've already lost. So you have nothing to worry about losing, because you've already lost if you haven't tried. And it's one of those great speakers out there. I don't know if it's Dr. Brene Brown or some Oprah, but they always say that, you know, successful people are people who have failed repeatedly to one day, like, get it right. And so if you fall, that's awesome. Now you can understand you have the power to get up. And not only you know, recently Will Smith came out with this video where he talks about self-love is self-discipline. And I think it's a pretty fantastic message about understanding that the practices that you make are a reflection of how you really feel about yourself. And I guess I couldn't say enough that internal conscious conversation that you should have with yourself about everything until it becomes automatic is really essential. I think the other thing that's really essential is scripting your life. Write it out. Dream like the most outrageous dream you could ever come up with and be like, I dare it to happen. You know, dare yourself to, you know, do something every day that helps you actualize, manifest, be an alchemist of that particular thing, because there's nothing that's impossible. Every moment comes to us holding the the present of infinite possibilities. And it's like, choose one, choose many, believe in them all, and it's possible. And then the judgment piece, put it away. Stop judging yourself. You don't have to be like anybody else. God uniquely made you for a reason. Figure out what you have been purposed to do. And it could be one thing, it could be many things. Like, today I'm an artist, tomorrow I'm a dancer, the next day I'm a meditation facilitator. Like, I receive it all. Like, wherever God says go, that's where I go. If God says talk to the stranger and deliver my word, then that's what I do. And there's no particular mode I am interested in filling other than the one that's called Lorraine McCall. And that energy is for me to define on a moment-to-moment basis, and I'm not apologetic for it. And whoever you are, you shouldn't be either. Life is about learning about all the things you have to gain. And if you have allowed fear to make you immobile, then you've already lost. So you have nothing to worry about losing, because you've already lost if you haven't tried. And it's one of those great speakers out there. I don't know if it's Dr. Brene Brown or some Oprah, but they always say that, successful people are people who have failed repeatedly to one day, get it right. And so if you fall, that's awesome. Now you can understand you have the power to get up, and not only the power to get up, but to learn from your fall, the gift that it offers, and then now you have one more tool for your next try to be even better. I say walk with all the love and light that God has given, and know that it's within you at all times. Call on it. It will respond accordingly. That's it.
So beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Mwah.
Bye.